There it is. I bet a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans will not be on the stream tonight. I'm one of those fans, but I am on the stream tonight because that's the commitment that I made to myself and to you to be on the stream every night in January. It's awesome to see you guys jumping on. But there is a Cowboy game going on up above me and in my room with my boys. So we're making sacrifices as Cowboy fans. Welcome, everybody. Hang on one second. Let me get a coffee here. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Great Saturday to you, my friend. I'm in Dallas. You're in South Carolina. I appreciate you. For those of you who are just jumping on, man, it's great to see you. My man Jimbo just jumped on. Justin Perrine just jumped on. Good to see you, dude. I haven't seen you popping around in a while. I hope you're doing great, Justin. Last time we ran into each other at the 10X Growth Con in Vegas. It's good to see you, man. In fact, it's great to see everybody on this beautiful Saturday night in Dallas, Texas. I just got out of the pool. Pool water was 49 degrees. Doing my daily dip in the pool. Why do I do that? Because you probably wouldn't. And that's a motivator for me, man. I like to do stuff that I know that other people won't do. That really fires me up. So listen, do me a favor, guys. Let's really do our best to crank the audience. I know it's an odd night, Saturday night. People might be out doing whatever they're doing, but that's not the case for us. We are on the stream. We are talking. We are sharing. What I'd really like to get from everybody is tell me what events you are going to attend in 2019. What I mean by events, I'm talking about conferences. I'm talking about trade shows, things that you're doing to get this cabeza in the proper mindset for success in 2019. Just put it in your comment section, and that would be awesome. I want to get a feel for where people are going, where they're traveling to, and in all frankness, I want to get a feel for if you're not, I'd like to get an idea of why you wouldn't be incorporating that into part of your 2019 plans. On Facebook, I have my setup a little differently here on the outdoor in the outdoor kitchen. So I apologize if my eyes are going back and forth because I want to give people on Facebook the proper shout out. So I'd like to welcome Dan and Kendrick and John. Our friend Ronnie Phillip jumped on. Jonathan, Joseph, Fred Ward shared. Thank you for the share, Fred. Marvick and Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann, I love those pictures of you and your daughter having a good time. That's awesome. I think you're doing such an unbelievable job. That little girl seems so doggone happy to have you as her mom. Ronnie is coming to business finishing school. I like that. My friend from college, Jackie Goodhart, jumped on. Jackie, I'd say the same thing about you. When I see you with your two girls in New Hampshire, they seem like very, very, very well-raised girls, love their mama. So congratulations to you. Ron Lynch, Marcel jumped on. Awesome to see you. Let's move to Instagram. I want to get an idea of where people are going. So my first message for tonight is tell me what conferences you're attending this year. Where are you going? Where are you spending your money? And let's see what we got. On Instagram, Amber says, I think there is so much free content. The biggest problem is not taking action at an event. Does it make you take action? Very interesting comment. Very interesting comment. It's impressive that you got that because it's actually some of the discussion points I wanted to have tonight about why do you go where you go and how long does the energy feed, the motivation that you get from these things last? Because I have literally been to hundreds and hundreds of conferences. And the reality is I've been disappointed by so many of them until I changed my mindset and said, I'm only interested in getting one idea from the conference. If I can pull one idea from that conference, it was worthwhile. And that simple mindset shift changed my whole interpretation of how I can get value from the events. And I would challenge you guys for two things tonight. The first is I do need you to be attending some conferences. You need to go feed that brain. And the second thing is don't put so much pressure on yourself that you have to be a different person when you come back. The reality is if you can just get one idea from the conference, it was a huge success. Gusto on Instagram says something interesting, not to be negative, but I feel most events are just raw meetings. Talk is cheap and action is important, very important. I like what you're saying there, my friend. I think we may have a theme starting to create tonight. But I would challenge everybody who does have that feedback to not put that pressure on yourself or the organizer for that matter, because you're really only looking for one idea. And every time I go to an event, I get one idea, one little nugget that I can put into play. Let's move on to Facebook, see what we got here. We got a lot of people jumping on. I cannot believe that Sean Loftus just jumped on. Dude, I figured for all the tea in China, you'd be watching a Cowboy game. But congratulations. Thank you for being on there. Yeah, Truth and Sales, aren't the Cowboys played? Yeah, the Cowboys are playing. But welcome to everybody on Facebook. It's good to see you guys too. Chris and Blake and Robert Stern jumped on. My friend Alan's on. Frank Estrada is on. Fred Ward says my number one priority in life is to not get a conference, is to seminar. I want to intern for Brian Cristiano in New York. Dude, you can do all that sort of stuff. Cristiano will probably pay for you to go. I love Brian Cristiano. And what you should do, Freddie, because I respect you and I appreciate your support with me, you should reach out to your network, me being one of them, and let me make a phone call to you for Brian Cristiano. I know Brian Cristiano very well. I love what he does. I've been to his offices in New York. So you would definitely want to have some assistance in that. I think I could help you, at least put in a good word for you, okay? So Patient just says, I'll try to come on and watch later. Dude, thank you for being part of it anyway. Christian Villa says, what is the best conference I've ever been to? It's an interesting question. I've been to a lot of different conferences, man. And I do have two, actually. I went to an event in Idaho one time called Family Board Meetings that was put on by someone who has turned into a friend of mine named Jim Shields. And by the way, Jim will be a speaker at our event in February, the BFS Summit, the Business Finishing School Growth Summit. And he wrote a book called 18 Summers, in which he argues in the book and in his message to us that you really only have 18 summers with your kids. And so what are you going to do to maximize this 18-year window that you have with your children? And family boardrooms really woke me up. I'll tell you a personal story about that too. And I hope you guys appreciate the honesty, but I took my youngest son to that. We had a wonderful time. But they broke the parent and the child up for a specific period of time one night. And they were all asked questions and stuff. And then when they brought us back, they asked the parent a question and they asked the child a question. And when they asked my son, my youngest son, what makes him nervous, he said, when my dad gets mad. Man, that was hard to hear. That's what he said. When my dad gets mad, that's when I get nervous. And I remember feeling that exact same way when my dad would get mad. Now, in my situation, it's a little different. My real dad split when I was 6 months old. He was gone. I never saw him again. My mother remarried. For those of you who may know my story, my mother remarried, and when I was 9 or 10, my stepfather at that time actually asked to adopt me, and he did. But he was a tough dude, man. And I remember that same feeling that my son expressed about getting nervous when I got mad. And I remember being terrified when he would get mad, and he'd get mad all the time. So family board meetings was one of them. I do want to let everybody know, please fire up the questions. We just had someone say your advice is amazing, but Q&A live is the best. Bring it on, dude. There is no question off limits. I hope you know that about me. We've been together 10 or 11 days this month. There is no question off limits for me. I will answer any question that you guys have for me. So So bring on the questions, dude. This is for you guys and for me. I mean, I get tremendous benefit out of it as well. The topic tonight, though, is what events are you going to and why? And if you're not listing where you're going, my question to you would be, what's holding you back? I mean, hell, my event is $299. If you use my code Matt, M-A-T-T 400, you get $400 off. I'll give it to you tonight too. Go to bfssummit.com. Let's look at a couple of the comments here. Your son has a good point though. Father is supposed to be the level-headed role model. Seeing them angry is natural, but it's also coming of age. I mean, dude, we're human, but I think a lot of us can fly off the handle without actually understanding the impact. And so when the question came in about what event was the most meaningful for me, that one pops to my head because every time I want to raise my voice to my boys, like when they throw a lacrosse ball through the window and I wonder who's got the $50 to pay to fix it, or something breaks and I wonder who's got the $100 to fix it, I calm myself down again. All day Fatah, I'm happy to bring you in, but I want to know what the topic that you'd like to speak about is. I want to know what the topic you want to speak about is. Chris Kahn says, does your son have a profile picture of a couple of dead hogs? Yeah, I think he might have put that up there. My youngest son may have put that up there. And he had this really weird thing. I think my older son helped him with his Instagram account. And it says something like, I love hunting and killing and God. I think that's what he said. So we'll certainly be changing that profile by tomorrow morning. So I see a lot of people going to the growth conference in Miami, Grant Cardone's growth conference. That's a good one. That's a real good one. Give me 1 second here. So the Miami deal will be good. I actually I think I changed my mind, and I think I am going to go to Miami for that one. Let's talk about it's a big gray area. I wish more conferences had women speaking. Yolanda, come to my conference. You kidding me? I got Elena Cardone speaking a keynote on Friday night. Come to my conference. That would be awesome. It's a big gray area, so definitely need your advice. Dude, be specific about it. Be specific about your question. I'm happy to let you in, but be specific about your question. (19-year-older) Jay Coops is in college. He's a 19-year-old college student. He says, do you think investing in stocks is this early is smart? I don't know what a DFS is, and I don't think you should be investing in stocks. Dude, the only thing you should be doing at 19 years old is investing in yourself and your skill set. You have a lot to learn, my friend. Don't be afraid to go there and get yourself completely full with your knowledge of skill development. You don't need to be worried about stocks right now. That's not going to help you. You will trade value in investing in stocks and working specifically on your own mindset. That's where you should be spending your money right now at 19 years old. Michael Wheaton says, what was your biggest mindset shift in the early years of your entrepreneurship? Thank you for the question. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Matt Monero. I started a company 23 years ago called Commercial Fleet Financing. We finance truckers. I started that company from zero. And in 2018, that company did $158 million. We've done close to $2 billion worth of truck financing since I started. I am the president of that company today. I have an incredible team that together we built that company. I didn't build the company. I just happened to have started it and worked my balls off for a long time in it. And I've been blessed to have a lot of other people come along for the ride who have benefited tremendously. So I'm also the author of 2 books. This is my first book, The Grit, available on Amazon. This was a self-published book. And this is my latest book, You Need More Money, available on Amazon. And this was published through Penguin. Okay. All Day Fatah has a question. Okay, I've been with the company for a long time, haven't been doing extraordinarily well, but I've been getting offers. I want to move on and negotiate. I'm going to bring you in here on Instagram, my friend, and let's see what this is all about. Facebook, you should be able to hear this. Adam Webster just jump on. My man, how you doing?
How you doing, Matt?
Dude, I'm doing awesome, and you?
Great, man. I appreciate all the content you throw out there. It's been amazingly helpful.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm so glad you say that. Let's rock on with your question, big guy. You've been with a company a long time, but you haven't had a lot of success. Is that what I read?
No, so actually I've had extraordinary success. That's actually what I meant to say. I've been doing extraordinarily well with this company. Basically, I'm at the point where, you know, the company at the end of their startup phase is deciding to give equity or profit sharing to certain people. And I've been getting other offers from other companies, and I'm deciding to move on, and I just want to know what your thoughts are on, you know, people say the plan may not be perfect, but don't quit. But I'm actually in a situation where I'm kind of getting better plans, and I want to move on. And, you know, I've heard you talk a lot about this in certain ways, so I just kind of want to hear your 2 cents on it.
Let's define extraordinary. Hey, define extraordinarily well, because that was your term. So tell me what that means. And I would like to know what you're talking about from a dollars and cents standpoint. How much are you referencing with extraordinary well?
We're a digital marketing agency. We do everything across the board in digital marketing. And as far as extraordinarily well, I'm the top salesperson in my company for the last 5 years. And beyond that, it's more than just the sales. It's the operations, it's the management of the company. So it's at a point where stake is in talks, and I'm not getting exactly what I want or what I feel like I'm deserving.
How much?
With other offers coming up. Say that again.
How much? How much you make?
Offer for me to stay?
Yeah.
About 15,000, 17,000 a month on a good month.
So 15 is 180. Call it 180.
Yep.
And do you think you can make? Are you worth more than that?
Absolutely, yeah. The offers that I've been getting are really squeezing the juice out of my potential, and they're paying me for that.
So what do you think you're worth? What do you think you're worth, my friend?
On a monthly basis, on a long scale, what do you mean?
How much money do you think your skill set, your experience, the value that you bring, your customer base, how much do you think you should be making right now?
About 30 grand a month.
So 360 G's a year. So almost twice what you're making, what you're being offered.
Yeah.
Good. I want you to go into your boss on Monday, and I want you to say to him, I think I'm worth $360,000. And you're going to get an answer. I talk about it in my book. It's going to go this way, and the guy's going to be like, are you freaking crazy? Dude, you're not worth $360,000. Or he's going to say, dude, I know you're worth $360,000, but we can't pay you that, right? That's when you know you punt.
That's what's going to happen. The latter is what's going to happen.
Then that's when you know it's time to see you later. That's the time.
That's what I need to hear. I love it.
Dude, do not be afraid to leave. I'll tell you a quick story for the gang that's on the stream right now. And dude, thank you so much for jumping on. But listen, I'm gonna tell you a story. I had a friend when I started my company who used to come to Dallas from New York all the time. She was in the fashion business. And every time she'd come to Dallas, by the way, I was busted ass broke. She'd always take me out to dinner with these hot chicks at the nicest restaurants. I loved when she would come to town every 6 to 12 months. And she'd be with a different company. I'd be like, what the hell? How come you're with another company again? She's like, yeah, I bounced. The other company paid me more money. The other company tapped out. I went to the company. Yeah. I just saw on LinkedIn just last week, she became the president of Halston All Global. So I don't know what that job is. That's probably $1.5 million, $1.8 million. So don't be afraid to jump, dude. Go.
I appreciate that.
You got it, man. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, Matt.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks.
There it is. Anybody else wants to jump on? I'm happy to visit with you and talk to you. I want to thank everybody for giving the likes and the hearts. I'd love a little bit more shares. I'd like to expand the audience if you don't mind. And if you go ahead and share this stream, it says a lot about you. On Facebook, if you got any specific questions, let me know what you got, and I'm happy to answer them. Back to Instagram, if you want to jump on, just let me know what the topic of the question is, and I'm happy to bring you on. Yolanda says, what role does my wife have in my business? Well, it depends on which business you're talking about. If my primary business or my revenue generating businesses, she has a very small role. But if you want to ask about the most important business I'm in, which is being an incredible dad to my 3 boys, my wife is the CEO of that company. She runs it, and she does a really good job because we have 3 incredible boys. But my wife and I are not in business together. And some people can pull that off. I think most people can't. I don't think she and I can pull that off. She did work with me for like a half a day, and then I say I fired her and she says she quit. But whatever the real answer is, it's not for us. But my wife is the CEO of my house. And for those of you who know me, my number one core value is to be a better father to my boys than my father was to me. That is my number one core value in life. And my wife is helping me meet that. She's amazing. But I don't need to be in business with my wife. I don't need to be in business with anybody, to tell you the truth. I need the people I work with because I like them, but I really am not a huge fan of partners. Let's keep rocking and rolling. It's Saturday night. Guy at my level, what are you still pushing for? Why on a Saturday night? By Matt Warren on Facebook. I think it's an interesting question. I don't know, man. I think it's a little bit like an addict. You know, I think this is a release for me when I can help other people, when I can help people get from wherever they are to the next level. I am fully capable of helping you with that. I don't care if you're busted ass broke in a dumpy one-bedroom apartment with a phone and a folding table and your car just got repossessed. Yeah, that was me. Or you got yourself a nice successful business like we just had on the Instagram feed. The gentleman jumped on and making 180 grand and thinks he can go to 360. Man, I can help you with that. I can take it from 360 to 720, and I can take it from 720 to 1.5 million. I got you covered on all those levels. And I like giving back. It's important to me to, but let me be straight about it. I also want a larger audience because I think I have a lot of experience that can help people in business. Jay Coops, I don't know anything about daily fantasy sports, DFF. I have absolutely no idea what that means. I can't help you. I wish I could, but I don't have any idea what that means. My man Justin Blevins asks, what qualities do you see that usually equal success? I can tell you that a don't quit attitude is super duper important. I think most people quit way too freaking early. I think most people are soft. I don't think they're gritty enough. I think they're unable to handle the pain of business and success. You have to pay a price, man. If you want to get to the next level, the only question you should be asking yourself is what price are you willing to pay? What I mean by that is how many long hours are you going to put in? How many late nights are you going to put in? How many Saturdays and Sundays are you going to work? How many date nights are you going to miss? How many games are you going to miss? All that stuff is part of it, man. If you see the people on social media and everybody says, telling you how sweet and amazing it is and how they made 10 grand a day on the YouTube video that popped up, the bumper ad that popped up, it's all bullshit. It doesn't happen like that. Success comes at a big price. And I happen to have a massive tolerance for pain. And that pain, unfortunately, is a mental pain. It's actually not a physical pain. And my buddy Justin knows that. I mean, I'm trying to lose 50 pounds by my 50th birthday. Well, how the hell did I put on all that weight? Well, I guess I'm not physically my enjoyment of pain physically is nowhere near my enjoyment of pain mentally. There's a huge level of suffering you've got to put into for success, whether it's health success or it is physical success or mental success. You got to pay the damn price. That's the way it pays. That's the way it plays out. So my answer to you, my friend, is you got to be willing to pay a big fat price for it. Might get fat for a little while. You might go broke for a little while. Might have time away from your family. But I can tell you that on this side of it, it's way better than on the other side. Every ounce of pain and sacrifice I put in to help build my business with amazing people in a great industry was worth it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade any of that suffering and that pain. Let's keep rocking and roll. More questions. I'm happy to answer anything. My man Billy just joined. Great to see you, Billy. I'm going to pop over to Facebook real quick and see what we got. Michael Wheaton says, would love to see you and Kerwin Ray. I do not know who Kerwin Ray is. Love an introduction there, Michael Wheaton. You could email me at mmonero@cffnationwide.com if you want to connect the two of us. I would love to do that. So Jay Coop says he recently struggled with trying to separate myself from marijuana. Many say it's not addictive mentally, but there's a fee. Look, man. You got Billy says, am I watching the Cowboys? Jay Coops, I'm coming back to you on that. I promise you. My boys are watching it inside. I have it on the TV above me, but I am taking a break. Dude, you got to quit the marijuana. You got to get off the drugs. Any of that sort of stuff is crazy. I have been sober since March of 1997. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since March of 1997. It was the single greatest decision I've ever made in my life, and I made some damn good decisions. But quitting any kind of influence at all, but I am smoking a cigar. That might be a transference of addiction, but I will transfer addiction so that my mind isn't altered through alcohol or drugs. So I would challenge it. I don't know how difficult it is to get off marijuana in your situation, but I can tell you for me, it went like that. I never had another drop of alcohol. I never went to an AA meeting. I just made a decision and that was the end of it. So Rich says, can't make the BFS Summit. By the way, gang, bfssummit.com for my event in February. Put in your code MATT, capital MATT 400, get $400 off. It'll cost you $299 to see me and Tim Story, Elena Cardone, and many others February in Dallas, Texas. So I would love to see as many of you guys as possible, and any assistance that you can do to help me in promotion of the event, I'd be very grateful for it. I want to get as many people in that room as we can possibly help. So Rico just jumped on. Matt Warren wants to know what kind of cigar. It's Pravada. They're pretty damn strong too, but good. Rich says, thank you for the content. Rich, I thank you for supporting it and being part of it. Adam Webster says, me too. I know the pain. It keeps me going. Yeah. My partner, Adam Webster, we're in a self-storage unit deal in Ohio that is going to be awesome. Brandon says, true. The regrets of things I've sacrificed has definitely been better than where you were before. Now, my friend, I like what you're saying. Here's the question, though. Have you sold your will yet? All right. Now that it's not so painful, have you pulled that throttle back just a little bit, or do you really keep it down all the time? That's the thing, man. Because once you get out of broke, y'all, you're fighting on a different level. You really do start to fight against, what am I capable of? What was I put on this earth to do? Those are the problems of success. So you got to ask yourself that, dude. Listen, I talk about it in my book, You Need More Money. Broke is the easiest phase to get out of. I break money into 3 phases: broke, accumulation, and rich. My friend Albert Preciado just jumped on. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for saying, says you're killing it, dude. I appreciate you, and you are as well. I can't wait to hang out with you, man. I don't know when you're coming back to Dallas, but we got to hook up, or next time I come out to LA, we got to hang out. Let me go back to that comment for a second. There's 3 phases of wealth: broke, accumulation, and rich, as defined in my book and in my mind. When I mentioned that to my buddy Cardone, Grant Cardone, he said, you missed one, dude. You missed wealthy. Well, wealthy is Carnegie and Gates and Rockefeller, indestructible wealth. That's not what we're chasing. For you to say that you're chasing Rockefeller wealth, you're missing the point. That's not what's going to happen for most of us. We are not going to have generational indestructible wealth. It's not for most people. What I would challenge you to do is figure out, how do you get rich? How do you get out of broke into accumulation, this long period of time where you're stacking and racking cash that can then be invested to throw off the passive income that you need to be rich. What is rich? I don't know what your number is, but it means you don't got to go to work every day because you got enough money coming in to live your lifestyle by design. That's how it plays out. That is truly the key. So, that's the reality of it, my friend. Being broke ain't hard. It's easy to get out of broke. Easy to get out of broke, right? You only got one way to go, is up. My friend Gusto says, what is your advice on taking on investors to grow the business at a more rapid pace? I don't really believe in it. I think that's a fool's game. I just don't see it. I don't understand that game of bringing in investors. It doesn't really make sense to me. I would much rather have 100% of a smaller, highly profitable business than I would a fractional percent of an unprofitable business, which is really what happens when you're taking on investors. It's an element of you saying, I really think the business is good enough and profitable enough, so I need cash from someplace else to be able to grow it. I'm a self-sustaining cash flow kind of a guy. You may agree or disagree with that, but my experience is when people begin to talk about taking on investors, it's a red flag. It is a red flag for a problem in that business. I'd love your comments on that, my friend. If you would disagree with that, I'd love to help you with that and walk you through my logic and hear your logic on that. My friend RJ Grimshaw just joined, the master of intrapreneurship. RJ, you and I got to do a combo stream one night in which you can explain to the audience what you reference when you talk about intrapreneurship. It's the ability to be an entrepreneur inside the umbrella of a big company. It's a fantastic concept. It is absolutely going to be something that is going to be extremely popular for people moving forward, because this idea of entrepreneurship being sexy and what everybody should do is only what happens until you become an entrepreneur and you get your ass handed to you and you realize how actually difficult entrepreneurship is. I love this concept of intrapreneurship. Matt Warren says, when are you going to offer coaching? I do in the company that I'm involved in called Business Finishing School. I doubt that I'll ever do one-on-one coaching. I don't like to coach one-on-one. I like to coach in larger groups. I like all things to have economy of scale to it. That's also why I disagree with having a small business. You want to have a larger business. If it's so good, you want to do it for lots and lots of people. So I don't think one-on-one coaching is ever something. But if you want to coach, and you want an incredible program, you should come to my BFS Summit in Dallas, my friend. But I know you got a scheduling conflict. But Justin says, I want to buy a business. How would you get started? The first thing I would do if I wanted to buy a business, I would ask for the financial statements. I don't give a damn about the business until I see the financial statements. I want to see exactly what's going on within those financial statements. And I'm not talking about QuickBooks financial statements. I'm talking about tax returns from the last 2 to 3 years. The better the financial statements, I don't mean in numbers, I mean in audited or CPA prepared or reviewed, the better the financial statements are, the better shot you have. It totally starts with the financial statements. In your opinion, should your children live with you? Absolutely, man. Absolutely, your children should live with you. Don't bother me one bit. If my kids want to come back, stack and rack cash for a couple of years, it doesn't bother me one bit. Dude, our lives are centered around my children. Are you kidding me? The worst day in the world is going to be in 12 months, or more like 18 months, when I pull up to my house and Johnny Boy's red truck isn't going to be out front because he's going off to college. That's going to be one of the worst days of my life. And my buddy RJ Grimshaw knows exactly what I'm talking about, because he's the one who's helping me walk myself off the cliff on that. Dude, I want my kids around me all the damn time. Billy says he hates the word entrepreneur. Me too, buddy. Billy, that was the premise of last night's stream. I never called myself an entrepreneur. I called myself a business owner from the early days, a bad one at that. But I appreciate you concurring with that, man. I appreciate it a lot. Rich says that he's in accumulation mode. If that's confusing to you, get a copy of my book, You Need More Money. I talk about it. It's phase 2 of the 3 phases of wealth: broke, accumulation, and rich. Congratulations, Rich, for being in accumulation mode. When you begin to tell people that you're in accumulation mode, it's incredibly powerful. Rich, you say that you're thinking about torching your business. Do not torch your business until you get involved with Business Finishing School. You cannot do it on your own, dude. You need the roadmap that we deliver in business finishing school. It's absolutely vital for you to do not torture business unless you learn how to torture it, and we teach it in business finishing school. Go into Facebook just for a second. Blake Duncan says, do I have any side gigs, i.e. rental property or et cetera? I do. I'm involved in commercial real estate. I have 2 big investments in multifamily apartments, big investments. I also have a smaller investment with my friend Adam Webster and Jamie Waite in the storage business. I am a investor. I'm a 50% owner in Business Finishing School, bfssummit.com. Use code MAT400. And then I'm also involved in 2 private equity deals and 2 angel investing deals for startups. And I wish I never got involved in the angel investing deals. It's not for me. I don't like it. And I should have not done those deals because it was too early. It was too much of a gamble. And on one of them, I think I'm going to lose my money on. I do not see it playing out. And I also didn't do enough due diligence on it. But that's just who I am. I would rather bet on a proven result with a smaller yield than thinking about the home run. I made a mistake on one of those 2 deals. I'm sure of it right now. I mean, I haven't lost my money yet, but I get the emails from this group, and all I do is see this cash burn happening every month. When I get these emails, I'm like, shit, these guys are almost out of cash, right? Rich wants to know, when is the following summit other than the February summit? It's always in February, always in September in Dallas. I don't know off the top of my head what the dates are September, but we definitely have those. Again, it's bfssummit.com. I have totally gotten away from the theory of tonight, the primary topic of tonight, which was, what are you doing for mental rejuvenation? What conferences are you going? And in the early stage of tonight's stream, people said they were going to the Growth Con, which I think is great, but then it died down. And so I wonder, is tonight's audience are you guys not going to events? Are you not going to conferences? You need to. Okay, cool, Rich. We'll see you in September at BFS in Dallas. But I really am challenging you, man. You guys need to go to 6 events in 2019. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. And I don't care if they're big, blowouts like 10X GrowthCon. I want you to go to something in your local area. And here's why. Because if you go there looking for one idea, that one idea with action, putting it into place, could change your life, man. It could change your business. I'm telling you, Business Finishing School did that for me. That single conference changed my life. That's why I bought half the company. I love the content so much that I bought half the business. And it took me a while to put that deal together because my friend Rick Sapio was not 100% sure that he wanted me as his partner. I love that. I absolutely love that when people are not sure. And also that he didn't think I was necessarily calm enough to be the partner, right? So anyway, that's all good when you're looking for a partnership. So I got another, Rich is going to 10X GrowthCon. That's cool. That'll be valuable. I'm still waiting for more. I keep hearing everybody going to GrowthCon. That's awesome to support Grant Cardone, but the question becomes, what are you doing after that? See, dude, if you go to GrowthCon in first week of February, you should immediately follow it with coming to my event at BFS. Keep the momentum going. Just keep feeding into that mindset of how do you get better? How do you get better? How do you get better? I would probably spend the first half of this year going to 3 or 4 or 5 conferences, and then I would spend the second half of this year implementing the top thing that you learned at each of those. That means at the end of 2019, you will have learned 5 things and you would have put action steps and executed on 5 things. Dude, you guarantee 2020 will be different. So if you aren't going to anything, if you haven't fired up the event in the comment section, the only question I have for you is why? Is it money? Dude, you have to spend money to get better. It is a requirement. You must spend money to improve your skill set. Whether you're spending money on books or streams or podcasts. You got to spend money. When you put skin in the game, the stakes crank up. The requirement for action cranks up. If you go to GrowthCon and spend $1,000 on a ticket plus the flight and all that sort of stuff, you drop $2,000. You are going to want to get your money back. But if you're just watching YouTube videos, while it's good, I like it, and it doesn't cost you anything, that might be the problem. You don't have skin in the game, right? When you start paying for learning, really paying for learning, hell, I pay $5,000 a month just for a guy to coach me, not in life, in this one segment of our business. I pay the guy 5 G's just for this, literally this one niche of a niche in our business, and I only talk to him 3 hours a month. 60 G's a year, and I only talk to him 3 hours a month. And some people are afraid to spend $299 to go to BFS Summit. So I would just challenge you in tonight's thing. You got to spend money. You have to spend money to invest in yourself, and then also spend money to make money. Okay? RJ Grimshaw says, I love you, Matt. RJ, I love you. Jay Doran just jumped on. Dude, that's awesome. Cool. Jesse Hernandez jumped on. Nice to see you guys. On Instagram, again, if anybody's got any additional questions. Otherwise, I'm going to bop off here. I'm going to go in with my boys. I'm going to watch the Cowboy game. But I'm grateful for all of you for spending a little bit of time to me. Now, listen, I want to share tomorrow night's stream. Tomorrow night, I'm going to teach you how to torch it. I'm going to torch it. I'm going to teach you how to torch that damn business and how to rebuild that business from scratch. Back the way it should have been built in the first place. That's what Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're talking about. We're talking about the torch. How I took my business from zero with the help of my team to $100 million in 2015. And I said, you know what? I don't like this place anymore. I don't even like some of the people in this business that helped me build it. I'm going to burn it up. I'm going to torch the thing. I'm going to fix it all. I'm going to change everything. And I'm going to love it again. And I'm going to work with people who love working here and being part of this environment. And that's exactly what we did. And in 2018, the company did 158 million. So I think the torch works. And I'm going to share the process with you. So if you guys would join me tomorrow night, jump on, share that with anybody that you know that might be struggling in your business, and you're saying to yourself, what is the story, about how do I get this thing fixed, this thing called my shitty business? How do I torch it and get it back? By the way, it doesn't have to be shitty in the form of not profitable. My business is very profitable. I just didn't like it anymore, right? And I'll go through all those stories in that discussion. Jay Doran says, what is the 3 hours a month on Matt Monero? I think you're referencing the coach that I have. And I think it's a great question. We have an executive management team that's in place right now at Commercial Fleet. And as I am still the president of the company and the founder of the company, and I spend a boatload of time at that company running it. But I have a coach who helps me in the transition, in my ability to get out of the business to a level that gives the autonomy and empowerment to my executive management team. And I'm not so sure that I really know the right way to do that. And so for me, it is worth spending the money to get a coach to teach me the right way to empower the executive management team to maximize their input in the organization. And so that's what I do it. That's what I spend it on. He's amazing. And look, I'm not looking for a coach in a lot of things, but this guy is great at this specific niche of transitioning from owner and founder to president and CEO with a powerful executive management team. So that's the deal. Will you be coming out with a different book? In fact, yes, I'm coming out with a book called The Torch. We're working on the proposal to the publishers now. We'll go back to Penguin, who did You Need More Money first, and see if they want it. But The Torch is a big idea, because it's not just about how you torch your business. There's a lot of other things that people need to torch in their lives, right? It might be that shitty relationship or whatever else. But I'm going to write another book called The Torch, in which we explore the roadmap that I took to torch the business. In fact, the similar roadmap that I'm taking to torch these 50 doggone pounds. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you, everybody. Go Cowboys. See you tomorrow night for the torch. Let's try to get a lot of people on the stream. If you would be kind enough to share it. And then the takeaway also for tonight is don't forget, you got to spend money by going to events, to network, to find this new level of skill set. But the reality is you're not going to put all this pressure on you. You're only going to look for one idea at each of these events, and you don't have to travel too far for them. Just find something you can drive to. Find something in your local area and start going to them. Man, I'm telling you, if you don't have 5 or 6 things, events or conferences that you're going to in the first 6 months of this year, you're behind. And you should think about mine, bfssummit.com. Use my code MATT400, get your $400 off. Billy, I can't wait to see you. I hope what you're talking about is coming to my event. And don't forget, if you haven't bought your ticket, Billy, I don't know if you have. I haven't seen a registration in a couple weeks. But if you haven't, go to BFS Summit, put in my code, MATT, capital MATT 400, and get your discount. Take care, everybody. I'll see you all down the road.